What's up, fam? So today we're going to talk about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. We're going to do a short intro to what blockchain technology is and what cryptocurrency is. But before we jump into it, let's first talk about the transformation of the internet. Okay, we'll go back. We won't go all the way back to the beginning of the internet, but we will start in the early 90s, which was the www era. This was also like the introduction of, certain programming languages that made it easier for us to interpret what was going on a computer, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, things like that help us really get the visuals that we interact with on the computer versus using the old way, a traditional way of command line, which was just, like a prompt, a command line prompt, a dark screen with like that green weird computer code, right? So the 90s really made it easier to navigate the internet. This was what we call Web 1. Okay, that was that era of the internet. And as we exited out of the 90s and entered into the early 2000s and even up into the 2010s, this is what brought about Web 2. And Web 2 was basically us getting like e-commerce platforms, social media platforms, information-centric type of platforms like Google, things like that. We kind of see the world started to change super fast, right? Because now we can order things offline, we can interact with our mobile apps and do everything. So like, there's a huge transition in technology and the internet, and even in like, all the way down, it trickled all the way down from the software, all the way down to the hardware, to like how our phones transformed and all of that, So that was all Web 2. And also with the inception of Bitcoin was created in 2009, which helped transition into Web 3, which is what we are currently in. And, the year's 2021 now, that's what we're currently in Web 3. So like from as we entered out of like the 2010s or maybe right at 09 when Bitcoin was made and up into like, 2010s up until now, we have Web 3. And basically this represents Bitcoin's creation, basically represents the introduction of blockchain technology, okay? And blockchain technology is very important because it reinvented the way that we store data on the internet. It provided something called a universal state layer. And this is something that, never existed in our, prior to that, like our internet prior to that never existed, this universal state layer. So this new way of sharing data like reinvented the internet. And this is all brought about by blockchain. And that's what defines Web 3, which is the current era of the internet that we're in now. Okay. So now we got a history of the internet. We can kind of go ahead and dive into like what exactly is a blockchain. We know the importance of blockchain, but like, let's get into a little bit more so we can really get an understanding of what's going on. So basically a blockchain is a shared digital ledger that facilitates the process of recording transactions and tracking assets across the entire network of computer systems. So when I say a digital ledger, let's just think of a ledger for a second. A simple ledger is nothing but like a sheet of paper with a list of transactions, okay, between individuals and different entities. So, on this ledger, you'll see some data relating to what occurred inside the transactions. Who was it between, how the amounts of things that were sent, the dates, things of that nature, right? Now, in the case of blockchain, when it's a shared digital ledger, let's imagine the same sheet of paper that I have with all of the records that are occurring on the ledger. Everybody who's participating on the blockchain has that same sheet of paper. Okay, so that makes it a public type of infrastructure where everybody can kind of see what's going on, what transactions are occurring and when they're occurring, and between what wallet addresses they're occurring on. This is important. Okay, so in short, blockchain is a digital or virtual ledger designed to allow instantaneous transactions in a decentralized system. So when I say instantaneous transactions in a decentralized system, now we're talking about taking out the middleman. So now, for example, if Jeff wanted to send some money to Adam, and Adam was in China and Jeff was in the United States. Jeff would not have to, wire the money through Western Union or wire the money through his bank. You can basically just get Adam's, crypto wallet address and send the funds directly to Adam from the United States. Simple. So this takes away that third party member. No more like banking systems that we got to go to or go through as an intermediary between our transactions. Now we truly have peer-to-peer transactions, and that's very important with blockchain technology and Web3. So peer-to-peer networking is built on the concept that each member of a computer system equally share privilege and workload. In the case of blockchain, all computers in the network hold identical copy of the ledger of transactions. That's what I just said, basically. And this serves as a single point of reference. So now, we got people and institutions who don't trust each other, reside in different countries, subject to different jurisdictions, and who have no legally binding agreements with each other can now interact over the internet without the need of trusted third parties, like banks and internet platforms or other types of clearing institutions. So that's very important. It's like more power to the people, right? So blockchain is pretty big. Now, some key elements of blockchain, it's a distributed ledger. So all network participants have access to the distributed ledger and its transaction. They have immutable records. So after a transaction is recorded to the ledger, no participant can make any changes to it. So if Malcolm sends some money to Stan and that's recorded on the blockchain, no one can go back on the blockchain and manipulate that data. That record is going to stay there forever on the blockchain. It's also very important. And everybody can see this because everybody has a copy of the same list of transactions on this shared distributed ledger, right? Another thing that's going to be a whole concept of its own is smart contracts. And a smart contract can house a set of predefined conditions or rules to be executed automatically on the blockchain. So if the blockchain is like, the infrastructure, the smart contracts allow us to give commands to perform things within that infrastructure. So smart contracts are very important. So that's blockchain. It's the history of the internet, that's blockchain. So let's talk about cryptocurrency. All right, so cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange that uses strong cryptography to secure financial transactions, control the creation of additional units, and verify the transfer of assets. Cryptocurrencies use decentralized control as opposed to centralized digital currency and central banking systems. So cryptocurrency is basically a token, okay? And this token is owned by private companies. And these private companies basically can build this token on the blockchain, okay? Or they can build their own blockchain and then create a token to put on that blockchain, okay? So in the case of like Ethereum, for example, Ethereum has its own blockchain and they have the Ether token, right? That you can actually trade. Bitcoin has the Bitcoin blockchain and it has the Bitcoin token that you can actually trade, okay? These cryptocurrencies can be traded on blockchains, as basically like virtual money, okay? It's the virtual money that we basically trade on the blockchain. And each cryptocurrency, like I said, is owned by a private company, okay? So if I wanted to create my own cryptocurrency, me being a private company, I could go on Ethereum's blockchain, for example, the programming language that they use is Solidity. I could create smart contracts to create me a token and execute, transactions on a blockchain with my token, okay? So in short, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency designed to work as a medium of exchange in a decentralized system. So we just basically trade cryptocurrency on the blockchain, simple, okay? I have a few videos about cryptocurrency and also about the history of money that I think is very important. I'm gonna leave them somewhere where you can actually go visit the links if you want to. But in short, that is basically it. That is the history of the internet. That is a little background on blockchain technology, a little background on cryptocurrency in itself. And I'll be making more videos, so stay tuned. And I appreciate you guys for checking me out. Peace, family.